Hi, this is Ed. Welcome to the Outer Light channel. Well, before I go on, I just want to thank my patrons at patreon.com/theouterdark, also over at steemit.com/theouterlight. Well, Julian Assange posted a link to this, as you can see here. We'll go into this in a moment. This is a reply to Lee Camp there from Redacted Tonight, who's a well-known satirist and also does numerous different shows there. Julian Assange stated in the reply there, casual reminder, Redacted Tonight, this is Lee Camp, that the FBI preys on lonely, vulnerable people plus convinces them to create terror plots, then takes credit for stopping them. Julian Assange is tweeting here, and this is the real Julian Assange, as you can see there, not underscore Julian Assange or Julian Assange underscore, but the real Julian Assange there. So almost all terror plots are created by the FBI as part of its business model. What is the business of the FBI? Extracting tax. What does it need to do? A stable threat. Real terrorists are sporadic and make the FBI look weak. Solution, make them. And that's what they do. Okay, and if you look into this, here, if you press view on this, it'll give you a little thing there. According to Twitter, this is like very sensitive. You shouldn't be able to view it. The FBI provided all of the weapons. This is in regards, the Intercept reported, and this is in regards to the FBI's management, of entrapment. So it entraps individuals, but it pays for things like their taxi fare, how to create the bombs, tells them how to do it, provides them with cell phones, clearance to do it. Enables them, all these kinds of things, everything under the sun, probably pours out a lake of gold in order for them to walk across a lake just to get them to do it, and then sometimes entraps them, although sometimes it goes wrong, apparently, according to the FBI, who's been associated with numerous different kinds of these attacks, including Fort Lauderdale, the Fort Lauderdale shooter there, directly connected to, guess what, the FBI. Well, at least that's what a number of people are stating. A lot of these things are, in fact, related. So that's what Julian Assange was stating, linked here to the Business Insider. We'll go through this Business Insider article in a moment, but first let's just give a shout out to where I got this from. This is from Lightbringer Flex there. It's posted on Reddit Conspiracy, so just a shout out to them. Also, the video I just made, just want to give a shout out to this person as well, 512 Karma. The video in regards to the RFID chips there. That was a really good catch there, so just a shout out to them. I couldn't find the link, but then I found it. It was just on the front page, so obviously I needed to look harder. But before I go into this article, here is James Comey, as you can see there, gone. He's gone now, largely disgraced, operator of the deep state there. Trump fired him. Which was the best thing Trump ever did. One of them, the other one, was defunding the rebels in Syria, but then another was withdrawing from the Paris Climate Change Accord, in my opinion. So let's have a look here at this article. So this is reported by CBS News. Family. FBI knew Oklahoma bomb plot suspect is schizophrenic. Not only did they know it, he has a long history of it and been placed numerous times in psychiatric care because of it. Now, schizophrenia is something where you can't really tell what reality is sometimes. You have breaks from reality, total delusions. So Oklahoma City, the family of a man accused of attempting to detonate what he believed was an explosive-laden van outside an Oklahoma bank says he is a paranoid schizophrenic and the FBI knew it. So this person, a long history of schizophrenia, the family came forward. They said that the FBI provided him with the van, the explosives, money, cell phones, all these things to carry out the attack, and then stopped it. Congratulations, FBI. Wow, they did it again. Evan probably provided people in order to insert these ideas into his mind. Probably provided him with all the materials, all the convincing, everything. Massaged his psychology to get him to do it. all these kinds of things. It's just really, when you're looking at stuff like this over and over again, it's just classic. The FBI came and picked him up from our home. They gave him a vehicle, gave him a fake bomb, and every means to make it happen, the statement said, adding that the authorities should not have aided and abetted to a paranoid schizophrenic to commit this act. So just on and on. Now, I'm not saying everyone at the FBI is crazy. There's a lot of good people in the FBI. There's a lot of good people everywhere. Where do you think all the leaks come from? They come from people in the CIA and the FBI. Where do you think WikiLeaks got Vault 7? In my speculation, it must have come from inside the CIA. Okay, there's a lot of good people everywhere who are outraged. The morale of these institutions is at an all-time low, and that's a great place to start change with. To get a new kind of morale in there of doing what's right instead of just being involved in this mass corruption like this. Trying to entrap schizophrenics. It's another classic. The family says man charged in FBI right-wing terror attack sting is mentally ill, incapable of attack. Again, it's paranoid schizophrenic. It's the same individual. But it's just showing you it's reported widely. They always get these people that have mental histories. They're like unwell. They've got depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, mental disorders. About 1 or 2 days away from going out to the forest with a bottle of Jack Daniels and a firearm and put an end to it all. They get all of these individuals and they're always massaging them. Wait on, don't put down the bottle of Jack Daniels and that firearm. I've got an idea for you. Did you know these people are to blame? Here's some literature. By the way, I'll meet you tonight. We'll go to this meeting. We'll hang out with some people. And then, and that's the way it goes, really. I mean, they're right in there. In essence, they're creating the attacks. Okay? They're creating them. It's the same thing. They're actually manufacturing these attacks. So Julian Assange just really laying it out there. Let's go to the article itself. The FBI is manufacturing terrorism cases on a greater scale than ever before. US Deputy Attorney General Sally Quinlan Yates and FBI Director James B. Comey during a US Senate Judiciary hearing on going dark encryption technology, etc., etc. The FBI has ramped up its use of sting operations in terrorism cases, dispatching undercover agents to pose as jihadists and ensnare Americans suspected of backing ISIS, aka the Islamic State, Daesh, or ISIL. Got so many names for it now. On Thursday, roughly 67% of prosecutions involving suspected ISIS supporters included evidence from undercover operations. In many cases, agents will seek out people who have somehow demonstrated radical views and then coax them into plotting an act of terrorism, often providing weapons and money. What else do they supply them with? Wow, it's not an alibi, that's for sure. Before the suspects can carry out their plans, though, they're arrested, apparently. Allegedly arrested. I mean, what happens to all the cases where it actually turns out to be a terror event? And guess what? The actual individual carried it out and killed a bunch of people. But they had links to the FBI. But critics say the FBI's tactics serve to entrap only individuals who would never have committed any violence without the government's instigation there. They're manufacturing terror cases. Michael German, a former undercover agent with the FBI, who now researches national security law, etc. These people are 5 steps away from being a danger to the United States. They target people who are generally psychotic. Of course they do. Where do you think they get this information from? Well, they get it from your medical records, because that's not private. Okay, your insurance records. They go into the insurance database. They look for people that have certain characteristics. Probably said something to their psychiatrist. They go, "That's our guy," or "That's our girl." Okay, round up the undercover team. Let's make this happen. Okay, guys, what do we need? Well, we need a bomb. We need to give them money. Let's give them $30,000. I'll give them a cell phone. Okay, let's put them in contact with some people in Saudi Arabia. ISIS. Let's get some ISIS literature. Make sure he's watching that propaganda 24/7, 7 days a week. Yeah, we've got that covered. Okay, all this kinds of stuff, right? All this kinds of stuff. So, an attorney and founding member of Project Salam, which gives legal support to Muslims, told Business Insider the government has developed a technique of engaging targets in conversations of somewhat provocative nature and then trying to pick up on things the target says, which might suggest illegal activity, and then trying to push them into persuading these particular activities. Downs also said that the FBI only targets particularly vulnerable people, such as those with mental disabilities. Very often they target people who are generally psychotic, who are taking medication. Now that brings us to something else, which is interesting. What's interesting about the next thing is, think to yourself how many of these mass shootings involve people with mental illnesses or backgrounds. Was the FBI involved? Were they coaxing them? Did they push them over the line? Who really knows? But, as Julian Assange says, they manifest these things, and sometimes things might go astray, as you've seen with Las Vegas. There was those posts on 4chan, make of them what you will. I don't know their legitimacy, but stating that what happened in Las Vegas was a Fast and the Furious scandal involving an arms deal, and that this person, Stephen Paddock himself, was an arms dealer for the FBI. It was all an arms operation. But it went astray, and the arms were taken, and it went crazy, apparently. But the FBI was involved. That's why everything's kept so very tight at the moment, because that person, Stephen Paddock, who has all the displaying characteristics of someone that likes to join casinos to wash money, how if you've got a $2 million net worth, how do you show up to a casino months on end and drop 30 grand and these kinds of things? Well, because you're getting the money from elsewhere and you're taking in there and washing it somehow in some strange wash operation, where the tables and the casinos are in on it. They just let you walk away with wins. More wins than your losses, or just slightly higher losses than your wins. Just enough to wash the money or whatever it is. Usually, I think I was watching a documentary, cost like 15-20% to wash money, so you could take you could take like 70% loss or something like that. No, actually you couldn't. You could take an 80% kind of loss, but if it was something else, maybe you could take more if the casino's in on it. I don't know. It's just alleged. And why did he have 30 guns in his hotel room? What kind of person tries to carry up 30 guns? It just doesn't make any sense. You just need more ammunition, not more firearms. What do you need more firearms for? What do you need 3 or 4 of the same type of machine gun or whatever for? You don't, unless you're selling them. There's all kinds of anomalies. It's its own rabbit hole though. Anyway, this is Ed. Go and do your own research. Of course, decide for yourselves. Put a links in the comments section. Until next time, this is how it's run down really. FBI new Oklahoma bomb plot suspect is schizophrenic, the family state. Of course they did. In the meantime, this is Ed from the Allight. Stay safe, and I'll see you all later.